Hey kids, it's time for another edition of Love to Hate. I'm Philip Fullman.
And I am Brandon Luna. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, Brandon.
Yep.
You got your costume picked out?
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to be?
I'm going to be Batman on his day off. I just wear the mask with the wife beater and a pair of shorts. That's it. And some Crocs. They're black Crocs.
So basically, it's you every day with a Batman hood.
Right, yeah.
No, there you go. I like it.
Yeah.
Now, work. You can go to the door like that and
hand
totally.
out
Candy?
Answer the door, hand out candy, yeah. And then every other kid that comes, we're going to do the time warp. You know, have the whole family get on the yard. From Rocky Horror Picture Show, yeah.
Oh, my God. What, are you going to have like a flash mob in your yard?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So the time warp's the dance they do in the movie,
That
right?
is the dance, yeah, the big one. That's the 20 minutes in the movie. They have the best song in the movie, and then the rest of the movie sucks, yeah.
So, wait, there's a 20-minute song in the movie?
No, I'm just saying 20 minutes into the movie, they have the
gotcha.
one song that everybody knows, and
Okay.
then it kind of dies after that. So,
yeah, I think I have heard that one.
Yeah.
So
You've heard the time warp. But you ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show in the theater?
No, I've never seen it anywhere.
What?
Seriously.
You've never seen it?
I have never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
So have you ever? Okay, well that kind of opens this up because I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show is it's an awful movie. I'll say that. Like if you watch it, if you just watch it at home, it's a bad movie. But it's supposed to be a bad movie. Mimics the
good bad movie.
It is a good bad movie.
Okay,
because it's got a great performance by Tim Curry. It's like you've never seen him like this. You see him, you've only ever seen him in everything else, and you see him in this, you're gonna go, what the hell? I mean, that's so different. But it's meant to kind of mimic the cheesy movies of the 50s and 40s and 60s, and you know, so it's that kind of thing. It's got that kind of appeal going on to it. It's that crazy kind of creepy sci-fi thing going on.
Okay,
so it's got that vibe to it. But
then
so
it's got sci-fi in it. Okay,
yeah.
And he's transvestite.
He's a sweet transvestite from Transylvania. Yeah.
Okay, and Meatloaf's in it.
Meatloaf is in it. Yeah,
Susan Sarandon, Barry Boswick.
You got it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then a bunch of people who were basically just part of the original stage play, which at that point,
Craig Ferguson was in
Rocky
that.
Picture Show. What the Rocky Horror Show, not Picture Show.
Okay.
Who? What now?
Craig Ferguson.
He did it.
He did it in London. He played whatever Tim Curry's character is.
Really?
So it sounds like you've obviously seen this.
Yeah, I've seen it a bunch of times. Well, one of the great things about Rocky Horror is you actually have audience participation, which you don't really get. That's what makes it great. So you go to the theater, and they typically have a group of people that will basically stand in front of the screen and mimic the entire movie while you're watching the movie. So you see it in the theater and you've never seen it before, you're really going to miss a lot because there's so much going on. They're running around saying things, they're talking to the screen, they're making cracking jokes during the whole movie, and you know, and it's just it's a really cool experience.
So it's interactive.
It's very interactive. Yeah, it's all about audience participation. So you have a bag of props that you're supposed to bring with you, or you can buy them there, like toilet paper and rice and a newspaper and all these things that kind of go along with the movie. So it's
so
really
I'm
fun.
Expected to participate.
Yeah, if you're going to go see it in the theater, yeah.
All right.
And they even, if you go and it's your first time and you tell them, they'll actually write a V on your head for Virgin, and you'll probably get pulled into the production at some point to do something. So
that sounds absolutely horrible.
No, it's awesome. It's fantastic. What are you talking about? Horrible.
Oh, having to participate.
You don't like participating?
No.
In anything?
Not really.
No?
No.
You never been to one of those seminars where they pull you up there and try and hypnotize you or whatever?
No, and I always hated the ones where it was, your work team building experience, where what we're going to do is we're going to bring all the coworkers together and we're going to put everybody on the same level so that we can really bond. So then when we have a beef between implementation and sales, everything will be fine because you played this stupid fucking little game together where you had to figure out how to untie yourself when you intertwined your arms.
Right.
Yeah, I've always hated that stuff.
No audience participation for you, huh?
No, it's not why I'm there. I'm not a participator. I'm a.
But you're a fan of things where they participate because you do like the Mystery Science Theater 3000 where they talk to the screen the entire time. You like that type of experience.
Yeah, but it's them doing it. It's not every asshole in the theater doing it.
Okay.
And I know they're funny.
That's true. Okay.
So
true.
it's not like, they've vetted those jokes.
Right.
Whereas, just anybody in the theater just throwing stuff out. I guess I don't think of Mystery Science Theater so much as audience participation as it is just guys sitting there mocking the film.
Interactive cinema. Cinema. Can't even say words today.
Interactive cinema. I guess so, but it's you know what you're getting when you go in, and I'm not sitting there being drug into it myself.
Right.
Now, I've seen them live. I saw Cinematic Titanic live, which was one of the offshoots Joel Hodgson did before he went back to MST3K.
Right.
And it was great. It was funny. I like that. But again, I wasn't drug into it and like, hey, be funny, or, you know, we're going to do stuff to you, or we're going to make you dance in front of people, or
right. So to be fair, the group that does the thing here in town, the Rocky Horror Picture Show in town, is called Los Bastardos, and they're actually a group of people that do this all the time.
Okay.
Now, they do it based on tips. They're just there having fun, basically. If you tip them, that's how they make their money. If you buy the props, that's how they make their money. And they have a set group of things that they do that people have been doing watching Rocky Horror Picture Show since the 70s. So there's certain jokes you know to expect to hear, like when there's pauses in the dialogue or when something really cheesy happens, they'll have a joke that comes with it.
Gotcha.
And if you've seen it enough times, you know those jokes are coming, so you can participate in that way. You don't have to. But then they also have other things that they add that are more timely, that are usually funny. So it's we took my daughter, my 19-year-old daughter, to it. She's the first time she'd ever seen it, and she's already into cosplay and stuff.
So she got the V on the head.
Yeah, she got the V on the head and got to participate. They dragged her up there a couple times, and she had a blast. So
there you go.
It's it's very fun if you're open to it, but it is going to be something completely different than what you're used to.
Yeah, because like those murder mystery dinners,
those are audience participation as well.
Yeah, I hate those.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
They're stupid.
What?
It's like, look, why do you gotta give me a show at dinner? It's like, you know, just bring in somebody to sing or something. I'll eat my meal, and it's like I don't want to get drug into some cheesy play. I don't know. I guess when I go, I don't like going to the theater anyway because there is an audience there,
right?
And they're gonna interrupt me. They're gonna take away from my viewing enjoyment.
I get that. Totally get that.
Like if I go to, name one where you can go and eat and watch a movie, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
I don't want to go to a restaurant and hear your silverware hitting your plate or you smacking your food. Now you're going to do it during my movie that I paid money for? That doesn't appeal. I get pissed off if the guy opens the wrapper too loud in the theater. So I don't enjoy that communal.
That guy snuck stuff in, by the way, because you're not supposed to hear. That's why they have boxes of candy.
See? Yeah.
That guy was sneaking some stuff in.
Yeah. Well, now we know. Yeah. Now I can point him out and be like, it's that guy.
Right.
Use my phone and sit there and put the flashlight on.
Right.
Another thing, phones in theaters, that's...
right.
But it all takes away. But I don't really enjoy that communal viewing experience or that communal... We're all in this together. Like at a concert, it's like... I'd rather if it was just me and a couple of friends that I like listening to this concert. It's great, but now there's people around.
One thing I do hate about concerts is when the artist gets lazy and wants you to sing the song for them, because that just always sounds bad. Like nobody can sing in the audience because they're all singing different
but when it's all those voices together, it somehow auto tunes.
Right.
But when you're standing next to the guy, it's like no.
Screaming the lyrics, and he's screaming the wrong lyrics, and
Summer of '69.
Right.
Yeah, I heard that at a Rolling Stones concert. Guy behind me the whole time. Summer of '69, because Bryan Adams was
the opening actor. Or something? Oh, okay.
I was like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
And again, you're crowded. There's people. It's like, man, I'd rather just go see the Rolling Stones by myself, but I can't afford it unless
you won the lottery last week.
Yeah, because I didn't win the lottery last week. So otherwise, I could afford to.
Right.
I don't think I'd pay to see the Rolling Stones.
He did win the lottery. He's just telling people he didn't.
Shut up. I don't know. I think when I enjoy things or when I want to focus on them or think on them, I'm very inside my head. I'm taking it all in. I'm noticing things, and people are a distraction.
So you want to be entertained. You don't want to be the entertainment, is what you're saying, or before.
Yeah, which is odd as a guy who went into radio and
right.
It's, but that's different because you're doing the entertainment or you're segueing into the song or whatever.
Right.
But it's not like a film where when I watch a film, I dissect it in many. I have so many thoughts. I'm thinking of the plot. I'm thinking of the characters. Does this seem true to the character?
Right.
And I'm also thinking. Hold on.
Put your dentures back in. There you go.
Yeah. See, I didn't win the lottery because I would have had new teeth. just how they filmed it and things
Right.
like that. So I'm very much inside my head having these thoughts, enjoying the movie.
Right.
So if somebody's asking a question or somebody's loud or something, it yanks me out of my head. And now I'm like, wait, what? What? It was like, no, I was having thoughts.
Right.
I feel very much like I'm a fish inside a bowl, and people walk up and tap on it, and then it distracts me. It's like, what?
Right.
It's like,
I get
no.
that part, yeah.
I had a thing going. I was swimming.
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I prefer to go see a movie when it's already been out for a little bit. I hate going opening night because you're going to invariably miss something, whether it's a comedy and people are laughing too long and you've missed 2 other jokes, or it's a horror movie and people are screaming and yelling and laughing and just having a good time, but you're missing stuff, or an action movie where people are oohing and eyeing. I mean, there's always going to be, when you go see a Marvel movie in the theater and the movie's packed, you're going to miss at least 5 moments, in any given movie.
And I'll go if I can reserve seats, and it's
right.
That way I don't have to fight the crowds.
Yeah, I love the reserved seat thing. I think that's one of the best things they've done.
That's really helped.
But I also think that movie theaters have gotten so far away from what they were for several reasons. Number one, we've got too much at home now. I mean, we've got 80-inch TVs now that are affordable, so we've got this home theater at home. So it's not as special when you go to the movies anymore. As you have to go see XD, you have to go see 3D, you have to go see IMAX for it to be special. But even then, it's still video. I mean, I hate that they've changed theaters from film to video. Because I can tell it's video. I can see the pixels. I can see the words are jagged. It doesn't look as good as it did when it was on film.
Right.
And I hate that they've done that.
Yeah, I think that's why 70s film is so iconic.
Right.
Just because it had a definitive look.
Right.
That it was visceral's not the right, not palpable, tangible.
Right. Yeah.
It was more real. This is, I don't want to say the word Photoshop, but it's all too clean.
Right.
Especially movie posters.
Right.
Movie posters, DVD covers are the worst.
Yeah.
Those things are so photoshopped and edited, and it's just like, these don't even look like real people.
Right. They've taken pictures of people, all like the Avengers posters, like 12 different people on the poster, and they're all taken at different times and shoved in one poster.
Yeah.
Tried to make it look like it was all taken at the same time. It's just awful.
So I don't like, so I get what you're saying about it's not the same. I will say, but movies like you mentioned, Avengers, anything with a lot of CGI plays better in the theater, because when you get it home on like your HD TV,
right,
you can clearly tell, oh, that's like a little computer generated man. That's not really anybody. Whereas in the theater, it looks more realistic. You know it's not, but you get it at home, and it's like, this is clearly fake.
Right. So they started doing this thing now in the theaters where they bring back a lot of the old cinema. Like they'll show, like Cinemark does it, where they show like old movies all week. It's like, hey, come see North by Northwest, and come see Frenzy, and a couple other things. It's like it's Hitchcock week or whatever. And I always loved that idea when I was in my, I guess, 20s. I was like, why don't they show old movies, bring them back to theater and show them? Because I would love to see those movies. But you go see them, and they're playing a Blu-ray. You can tell it's not like they've even got the introduction that's on the damn Blu-ray.
There was a theater in Kansas City that did that. We're a suburb of Kansas City, but it was an old theater. I mean, small seats. You're walking down, and it was actually a film. And I think I saw Philadelphia Story, and
nice. Great.
It was a Sinatra movie I saw. I think it was Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Frank Sinatra and Gene Kelly.
Well, on film, you could tell.
Yeah, no, it was film. It was
millimeter.
film. This
Great.
was not a clean DVD copy.
Right. And I think I've talked about this before. I don't know if it was on this show or in a previous show, but we went and saw Labyrinth in the theater.
I think you did mention that, yeah.
And it was on film, and it looks so much better on film than it did on Blu-ray at home, because the special effects weren't as badly noticeable. Like, you couldn't see the strings, you couldn't see the bad blue screen. It was so grainy and cool looking that it just kind of looked better.
There was something I just watched at home. What was it? And you could totally see the ropes and the strings, and man, what was it? That doesn't matter. But again, it was that where it was just, this doesn't hold up. I can totally see, how they're making the sausage, so to speak.
Right.
Kind of wish I could remember what movie that was. It was an older movie, but regardless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't think cinema, going to the theater now, is as special as it used to be.
Yeah, because that's the only way you got to see these things, and now, depending on how popular the film was, you wait, 6 months?
Right.
And you can either, buy it digitally, rent it digitally, and then the DVD comes out.
Think about this, too, to go back to when we were kids. When we were kids, you saw it in the theater. Maybe you got to see it on HBO a couple of times. Maybe you got it on VHS or whatever, right?
Right.
But keep in mind that 70% of those versions of that film you were watching were not the same film as in the theater, because when you saw it in the theater, it was 70 millimeter.
True.
When you saw it on TV, it was square. It was either cropped, what they call pan and scan, or cropped. And so you missed a lot of the image there.
Yeah, and because you're not seeing what's the action off to the side.
We didn't get widescreen stuff until Laserdisc days, and then DVD was when we started getting the widescreen TVs, and that's when you really got the same representation of the movie that you got in the theater. So that special part of it's also gone, because now you're not getting a truncated version of it at home.
True.
Versus seeing the full 70 millimeter, 35 millimeter print in the theater.
Flash Gordon, that's what it was.
Yeah. Oh, Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Flying blind on a rocket cycle.
I love that. That was good.
That's I love that movie.
Yeah, it was one of those. I remember when I saw it as a kid, and then it was just like you're never going to see it again.
Right.
But now it's like, well, now I can digitally download it. I can go buy the DVD with all the behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. There's tons of stuff you can do.
Right.
So if I missed it as a kid, it wouldn't have been that big a deal.
Right.
So now it doesn't matter. Ant-Man Wasp. Right. I wanted to see it, but I waited until it came out on rental.
Right. Did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was. I like the first one better.
I do too. Yeah,
but
suffered from sequelitis a little bit, but it was. It still
did.
Fun.
Michael Douglas. Well, yeah, Michael Pena, but Michael Douglas in the Quantum Zone. Whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah, enjoyable film. But I don't feel like I missed anything by not seeing it in the theater.
Yeah. Well, especially because you got the big screen at home and you got the Blu-ray and everything else.
Yeah,
so good
and I can smoke
or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
So that also
that's
helps.
Also definitely appealing. But to me, I remember being into Laserdiscs and being into the whole widescreen thing, and how much different it made those movies. Especially when you look at older stuff, like the assumption was that spaghetti westerns and kung fu movies were badly shot, because when you got those at home, it was a 70 millimeter print that was truncated down to, basically the center of the image.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, they didn't even pan scan those. It was just the center of the image. So when you look at a Sergio Leone movie, like if you look at the first scene of Once Upon a Time in the West, there's a guy in the left corner of the screen lighting up a cigar. There's a guy in the right corner of the screen that comes in that's checking his belt, and there's Charles Bronson in the middle, kind of looking at both of them, getting ready to shoot. When you saw that on VHS back in the day, you saw Charles Bronson in the middle looking at two people. You have no idea what he's doing, and then there's a shootout, and you're like, what? What the hell happened?
Yeah.
But you don't get that unless you see the full version in its
It's almost
screen.
like a Zack Snyder film.
Right, yeah.
It's like, what happened? How did we get here?
Right. Unfortunately, we got a full screen of that.
Yeah,
we can't tell what the fuck's going on.
That's true. No, I enjoy the widescreen of it, especially for, as old as it, a movie like Citizen Kane, because there is so much going on in that movie.
Right.
And I know now people look at it like, why is this so amazing? It's like, well, because this had never been done.
Right.
Some of those camera angles where you're like, well, that's...
He made that what is that? I forget what that's called. There's a process where it's like the front and the back are both in frame and the middle's out.
Exactly.
Like that was made for that movie.
Well,
that was the first
and
time
there's one
was
shot
used.
where the camera goes in over the top of a building.
Right.
Over the sign, and then drops down into the building.
Right.
As they're talking. And it's like that. Now you're like, oh, that's not a big deal. It's like, well, nobody had ever done that.
Right.
Not to mention he had a solid story to go with it. So
right. And I think there's still filmmakers doing films like that. They just don't, like, it has to be a nerd that points out that something happened,
Yeah.
Like Baby Driver, I don't know if you saw that or liked it, or you didn't like it, I don't think, right?
It was okay.
But that first scene in Baby Driver that's like the length of a song is it's all one take.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And like half people didn't even, I was in their theater going, wow. And
Birdman was like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And it wasn't one take, but the way they pulled it off, it was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved Birdman.
I love Birdman,
and
too.
I liked Baby Driver. It wasn't my favorite, can't think of the guy's name. It's not Nick Frost, but...
the guy who did all the Cornetto trilogy,
yeah. But still solid. Mm-hmm. Still liked it. It's weird seeing John Hamm in anything other than Edgar Wright. Yep. Seeing him in anything other than Mad Men.
Right.
And Edgar Wright's the reason Ant-Man wasn't in the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Edgar Wright wrote Ant-Man. So.
Yeah. Well, and then they did some rewrites on it. So you enjoy participating, because last week we talked about a cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd take a cruise.
Yeah, I think the idea of a cruise appeals to me for one reason and one reason only. When I take trips, typically it's not really a vacation. It's typically I've got 8 million things I've got to do, and by the time I get home, I'm tired again.
So you don't really get to rest.
Right. So I think the idea of being on the water for a couple of days and kind of being stuck there forces me to just relax. Now, I know there's things on a cruise that they're going to want you to do, or that they try and get you to do, like there's a party night or there's a dinner thing that everybody goes to or whatever, but you don't have to do that stuff. So I like the idea of just relaxing.
It's around there and it's commotion. It's not relaxing.
Yeah, that's true.
To me, I think a vacation would be up in the mountains by myself. Yeah, kind of like Walter White in his cabin, minus the cancer. I think.
The cancer.
Yeah, I think.
No fun.
Yeah. If Robert Forster wanted to come bring me supplies or something, Robert Forster seems cool.
He does.
But yeah, that would be my vacation, because, like you said on the cruise, you're right. You're contained, so it's not like you have to go do this or that. But there's the excursions, and that's another thing that would freak me out is if you want to do an excursion, I would perpetually be petrified that I'm going to miss we're on the way back to get to the boat and the car breaks down or something, and then I miss the boat.
Takes off with you, right?
Yeah, so there's that. But it's just, even if you don't participate in trivia night or whatever, that it's around you and you get roped in.
Yeah, I guess it's your point.
To me, it just seems kind of like,
I don't know. I'm more of a people person than you, though, because I was brought up that way, being in sales and everything. And my dad was in sales, so I guess I'm the guy that can start a conversation with anybody and have a good time.
I can do that, but then I just need my time to myself.
Right.
I'm introverted, but not shy.
Well, that's when you go take a dump. You just take a book with you, and that's your you time.
I gotta go.
Yep.
I'll be back.
He's gone 8 times today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's in high school again.
Right. What's he doing in there? Why is the water running? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I get your point. Audience participation, I think the reason that it works for me for Rocky Horror Picture Show is because it's meant to be part of the show.
Gotcha.
It enhances the movie because it's a bad movie. Now, I think they also do audience participation with The Room, which is another awful movie, but now it's become a midnight movie.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah. Who? Oh, I didn't recognize you. You're my favorite customer. Like, wow, such a bad movie. So that lends itself to it.
And I love that. And I love it because it is so bad. It's just, wow, what
and
a
it
cluster.
Makes the movie better. It makes it more fun when you have participation with the audience. So I think for that type of movie, it's fine. They even do it with Grease. Apparently they do at Alamo Drafthouse. They show Grease with karaoke on the lyrics.
Oh, okay, so people can sing along,
and they have people up there doing the characters and stuff too. So
see, and I if I have people over, like say if you came over and a couple of my buddies and we were watching a movie, it wouldn't bug me because I like you guys, I know you guys, but just the whole interacting with strangers thing,
right,
on that level, that would just that would take away. But I get what you're saying. It's part of it. It's designed to be part of the experience. Do they do one for Plan 9 from Outer Space?
I don't think so. They should.
Yeah, because that's a horrible movie. They could do one for Birdemic.
Right. Oh, that would be awesome.
When I read the review of how bad it was and how bad the CGI was, I had an idea in my head.
Right.
My idea could not even sum up how bad. I mean, you're talking what? NES Duck Hunt graphics, maybe?
It was awful. Like the birds don't even move; they're just flapping and staying in place.
It's just like I was like, "Wow, they weren't kidding. This is really bad."
You know what though? That guy made a movie. You know, he got people to give him money to make that. And
meanwhile, I'm still sitting on a script at home bitching about.
Oh, me too.
Birdemic. Yeah.
Me too. I actually found a script the other day that I'd written that I'd forgotten about. I never finished it, but it reminded me of something we were talking about the other day because the part of it was this guy was like a mobster or whatever, and he was trying to retire, and he just stays in his home and doesn't do anything, and he has people to watch him, and it's he's in the shower in the beginning, and the way I don't remember even writing this, but he was in the shower in the beginning. He's got one of those mirrors in his shower, and he's just winking to himself. like over and over, trying to find out which way is the best way to wink. Because when he knows, like, he has to give that signal to somebody, he wants it to look effortless. I'm going to wink to that guy, and that guy knows he needs to kill this guy now because I winked at him. You know, so it's stuff like that.
Interesting.
But he has a conversation with the guy who comes in. He's like, "What have I told you about? This is my time." He goes, "I work 8 hours a day. I sleep this much. I've got 3 hours to enjoy myself. I'm going to watch Magnum PI for the next 3 hours. And if you're going to bug me, then,
you know what? Not such a bad mobster. If he's going to watch Magnum
like,
PI,
sit down and watch Magnum PI with me and shut.
I finally finished that. I finally finished that.
Yeah,
it was good. It held up.
Did it?
It did. You could tell when Miami Vice hit the air because they would do montages.
Oh yeah.
The filming became a little faster, quicker edits,
a little more Michael Mann.
Little bit, but still solid stories. So still enjoyable. I think the show held. It was time. It was time.
Well, didn't you say they killed him and then he came back or something?
Yeah,
it was one of those fake out deals.
Yeah, season 6, and there's all sorts of rumors about that. Or it was season 7, whatever the next to last season was. He dies, and so there's stories of they always meant to bring him back, or that was supposed to be the end. That was the end of it, but fans revolted, or they decided after looking at it, no, we shouldn't do it that way. All sorts of stories, but bottom line is he comes back. He wasn't dead. He was in a coma.
Right.
Spoilers.
Became Eddie and the Cruisers.
He did. That's exactly it. But I think the ending they did was well done.
Yeah.
I liked it.
How many seasons did you say it got?
I think it was 7 or 8.
Okay. And it's on Amazon?
Amazon if you do the Star subscription.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then I started looking for Simon & Simon, and they didn't have it. You can't stream that anywhere.
Hardcastle and McCormick, huh?
YouTube.
Yeah?
YouTube. But same theme writers.
Did you say you were watching Hunter or something?
Yeah, I'm watching Hunter. Yeah, it's
Dirty Harry TV.
Guilty pleasure. I now know why I say works for me.
Yeah.
Because apparently that has just stuck with me since high school.
Right.
As I will say that. But the series changed a lot, too, because it was really a Dirty Harry action series the first season. Then it became more of a crime procedural. But, it was a product of its time. It was a very 80s show, some good episodes, some kind of cheesy. You get the kind of moral of the week episode sometimes.
Right.
It evolved, but it was enjoyable.
It's always funny when you get the timely episode, too, where you remember, like, oh, yeah, that was because this happened. Like that whole
exactly.
Episode on, it's like a time capsule.
Because they did one on homeless people, youth gangs. It's like, okay.
Was Eric Estrada in that as a?
Actually, he does come on.
Does he really?
Apparently, I read something. They add him, and he's like in two episodes.
That's awesome.
At some point, it was like, huh.
You remember that like religious movie he did, like The Cross or something?
The Cross and the Switchblade.
Yeah, The Cross and the Switchblade.
Yeah, Pat Boone.
Yeah.
Was in it. I
saw that in the theater with the church.
Did
Let's
you?
all go see it. Yeah.
Oh, see, something else communal you can do.
Right. Yeah. That's very communal. Yeah.
That's
you
true.
gotta participate, especially if you're Catholic. You're up
and
and down and saying stuff.
Well, we're up and down too,
chanting and all that crap.
And we turn around at one point.
Oh,
so,
do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do the hokey pokey?
No.
Okay.
No, that we don't do.
Chicken dance?
No.
Damn it.
No. We got some killer music though.
So you probably don't like weddings either because you have to participate.
Well, I went to one wedding and I participated, but that.
Then you wanted your money back.
Yeah, I was like. Yeah, that one I participated in a lot. Trying to think, no, because usually I'm ushering or I'm just watching. I do remember. I say it's a funny story. It was looking back. It's like, God, what an asshole. I was at a wedding for somebody I went to high school with.
Okay,
and the only reason I was there because I was not well liked. I was just the goofy, nerdy kid, didn't have any friends. But I started dating a girl I had gone to high school with once we were in college. Mm-hmm. We met up and, the hormones had kicked in and I learned grooming tips. So, ugly duckling thing, and she blossomed. Mm-hmm. So we started dating, and then she got invited to this wedding and was like, oh, crap. It was like, oh, now I got to see all these people from school. Anyway, sitting in the pews and service is going on. And let me preface this with, I believe I whisper. I'm told by everybody that I don't whisper. Apparently, it has to do with resonance.
Okay.
Because if you lower your voice like this, I think this is whispering. But apparently, it's not.
Yeah, whisper. It's more like this.
You take out all the resonance. I didn't know. So the minister gets to the part where he says, "Do you take this woman?" Again, thinking I'm whispering to my date, I say, "I think he has several times." At which point, I get an elbow in the ribs, and like, that's her mother up there. I'm like, what? I whisper, like, no. Everybody within a 5-foot radius just heard that crack. I'm like, well, I wasn't wrong. Yeah, so it's like, it was kind of a dick thing to say, but I didn't mean for it for public consumption. So that was my participation.
Right. You'd fit in well with Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Do you get to insult the screen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And all that.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's got a sexy Susan Sarandon in it.
It does.
Well, there's that.
She can't sing, though, but she sings a lot.
Well, well. I guess in films like that, though, you're not. In a lot of films like that, though, they didn't, you weren't expected to sing. Of course, now they just auto-tune you.
Exactly, yeah. I think Barry Bostwick pretty much talk sings the whole thing. He's a...
There was a thing I saw on YouTube about best actors who can sing. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised. Ewan McGregor surprisingly sings well. They say Nicole Kidman. I wasn't really sold on her.
You saw the movie, right?
But Moulin Rouge?
Baton Rouge? Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge.
No,
I
didn't.
No, I did not.
No?
Moulin Rouge did not appeal to me.
You're not a musical guy.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I like some musicals, but...
edgy like Sweeney Todd or something? What?
I did like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was edgy. Most of my musicals are going to have Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra, or Fred Astaire.
Gotcha. I'm with you there.
Yeah, the big shows where, I don't know, I don't get into the music of it. Mm-hmm. I want to say I like Pirates of Penzance, though.
I haven't seen that in forever.
I'm trying to think of what other musicals it wasn't a musical, but I like Down with Love, but that had music in it.
You like Grease?
No.
Not a Grease fan?
No.
No?
No, just
I like Grease.
No, and I hate Saturday Night Live.
Fever. See,
whatever.
That's one of those
Fever
things.
Live.
There's a thing, like, is it a musical? Because they don't sing, but there's a lot of music in it. So
here's the thing. I hate disco, and I hate the Bee Gees, and I hate ABBA.
Okay.
So
no appeal there.
None.
Yeah.
It's like, this is horrible. You're wearing this polyester crap and just this like, oh, this is horrible.
And the movie really has no plot. It's just like the day in the life of this.
It's just
jackass.
like Vinnie Barbarino going out learning to dance.
Right. There's really no plot to it. It's just him hanging with his friends. One of his friends commits suicide. That's really the movie. That's pretty much it. He hooks up with this chick, treats her like shit. That's
Footloose. I like Footloose. Yeah. That's a musical.
But no one sings in, yeah.
Well, yeah, but
music-driven.
Yeah.
Movie.
Kenny Loggins sings in it.
I mean, if you're going to say that's a musical, then you can say Top Gun's a musical because there's a lot of music in that.
Oh no,
Top Gun.
Yeah, but they don't. But they don't dance in Top Gun.
They don't. Oh, they do dance on Footloose. Yeah,
they dance in the locker room later.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Gayest movie ever.
That Quentin Tarantino rant is great.
Yeah, that was.
You can be my wingman.
And that comes out, I guess, next year, 2020, something like that.
Yeah.
Maverick.
Oh, I just saw a trailer for another movie. It's like a thriller called The Super, and Val Kilmer plays like a creepy superintendent, or what they call that runs this house tenement.
Right.
And he looks bad, but he's lost a lot of weight.
Well,
so he's
you know
thin.
why?
Yeah, because it's Top Gun.
No.
Why?
Cancer.
What?
Yeah, he had
cancer.
He had cancer.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So he had to go through treatments. Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think they said that's why he ballooned up, because of the steroids they had him on.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he has an excuse for looking the way he does.
Movie looks okay. Looks entertaining. He plays a bad guy.
The Super.
Yeah.
There's always weird movies like that where he, like if it was an old movie, you'd see like there'd be the portrait on the wall, and then the eyes would roll back, and he'd be watching that way.
Right. There's actually a scene in the trailer where there's a hole in the wall, and the guy sticks his eye through there. I'm like, okay,
like Norman Bates.
Yeah. So they're trying to go that route with it.
Now, there's a good horror movie, Psycho.
It's a great horror movie. Yeah.
That's so okay. So would you consider Rocky Horror a horror movie? Very much, or
no? It's a musical.
Better at Halloween.
It's a musical comedy.
Better at Halloween.
Yeah, it's definitely a Halloween centric thing, but I think it has for people that like it, it has a year round appeal because it's a way for them to go out and just have a good time and be silly.
Because you like more horror things than I do.
Movies, yeah. A good horror movie is a great thing to me.
See, and I enjoy the old, what were they, Columbia or Universal monsters, the Bela Lugosi, the Boris Karloff Frankenstein. Those I enjoyed.
I've got a Blu-ray set in my Amazon cart.
Yeah.
That I almost got. It was $29, and it was all of the original. It was like Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, The Mummy, and there was one other one in there, like Jekyll and Hyde or something or whatever. And it was like $29. And it was a Blu-ray. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy that. And I had it in there, and I forgot about it. Now it's like $70. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I think you can find those at Walmart.
Yeah.
For, $10 on Blu-ray or something like that. But no, I enjoy those. I actually went and saw in Kansas City, they did it was the original Dracula, but they did it with live music.
Oh,
they did
awesome.
the soundtrack, but
I've
live.
seen that with Metropolis. They did it with Metropolis back in Austin when I was living there.
So yeah, that one, something like that I would go to because it's unique. But God, what else was there? Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, yeah, that was the other one.
The Invisible Man. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. But that was kind of the horror I grew up on. Now, have you seen you're going to go see the new Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis,
yeah, of course,
right?
Yeah.
I did see that. It wasn't a bad movie. I don't remember much about it. I didn't do multiple viewings, but to me it was more psychological than it was startling.
You talking about the original or the new one?
The original.
Okay.
I watched part of I don't remember what Friday the 13th it was, but it wasn't so much scary as it was just, it's just gross.
Right.
So it's a lot of loud noise. To me, a scary movie is Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
Because that shit could really happen.
Right.
And just the suspense that they build up in it. And same with Psycho. So
Right.
that to me is my type of horror movie where it's like
less
of
a slasher, more of a psychological horror type thing.
Yeah.
Those are the movies that tend to affect
things
me
like
more.
But things like The Omen and The Exorcist, and I don't believe in demons and stuff, but still, it's just like, wow, that's really creepy. Mm-hmm. It's just really well done. I don't know. Maybe I gotta give slashers more of a try. I did just watch Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, that's fun.
That is enjoyable.
Yeah. Tyler Labine and
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, Alan Tudyk is great in that. Yeah.
These kids have got some sort of suicide pact.
Right.
That was because it was the whole play on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like some of the older ones. They just work for me. Or Young Frankenstein. Always appropriate for this time of year.
Yeah, definitely.
So do you have set movies that you have to watch this time of year?
For Halloween?
Yeah.
Not really set movies. I mean, I try and watch Halloween yearly because that's one of my faves. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, and it still appeals to me just because it's the start of that genre. It's the start of the slasher genre, really, or at least the popularized the slasher genre. But I even go into like sci-fi horror, like Aliens. I think is great.
Yeah,
it's a great flick, action horror flick. Basically. Action
yeah, that's true.
Horror. The original Alien is still
what about
really
Predator?
Good and creepy. I love Predator, yeah, but I consider that more of an action movie than I would a horror movie. But it's got some horror elements to it or sci-fi elements to it. But yeah, so I go back and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, is a big one for me. I love that just because it's so visceral.
There's been so many of those.
Yeah, and they just
you don't even know where to
franchise.
start.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and they talked about they pretty much destroyed the Halloween franchise, and they're basically ignoring everything except
the original Halloween. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird that there's actually 2 movies. Now there's 3 movies called Halloween and 2 movies called Halloween 2. So that's kind of odd. But
it makes it fun on IMDb.
Right. You got to look for the right one. So we have a set, we watch usually, number 3 of Nightmare on Elm Street because that's my favorite one, The Dream Warriors. With
Dokken.
With Dokken, baby, yeah. That's great. So there's a couple that we watch, but yeah, it's...
Johnny Depp was what, in the first one?
He's in the first one, yeah.
Okay.
He gets sucked into the bed and spit out.
Okay. Robert Englund's a guy who he made a career out of horror.
He did, totally.
He also... You're right there.
Mm.
He played the police car attendant on an episode of Hunter, where he gave the cops their cars.
Really?
Like, look, Robert Englund in an early role. So
I saw Jane Lynch in The Fugitive the other day. She's in that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing where people turn up.
Right.
Dennis Farina was on an episode of Hunter. There's one actress on there.
He was probably still a cop then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dennis Farina was actually a Chicago cop.
Yeah, that I remember. I didn't know if he was a cop at the time.
He did the movie Code of Silence with Chuck Norris. He was still a police officer then. And that was 88. So
Oh yeah, so then he would have been. Now he was retired when he did Crime Story, though, right?
Right. Yeah, he retired when he did Crime Story.
Yeah, that was. I seem to remember liking that show.
Michael Mann
was on after Miami Vice.
Mm-hmm. It was the Michael Mann.
Michael Mann definitely had a look to his movies.
Yeah, very slick, very MTV.
Yeah,
and not so. And Crime Story just had a lot of really cool lighting. It wasn't as quick cutty as Miami Vice was.
They told it more of to fit the time period that they were telling it in. I remember he did Manhunter, which was Red Dragon. The people think of it as the Lecter sequel, but it's not, or the Lecter prequel, but it's not. It just Lecter's in it.
Right.
When they did Red Dragon with Ed Norton, then it was very much more about Lecter, because Anthony Hopkins, everybody just wanted to see him. But in the original, it was Brian Cox, and he was just a very small part of the movie. But as you watch that now, to me, it doesn't hold up as well because it's very, very 80s looking. It so looks like Miami Vice.
I think he still does a good job in the role, and he's very creepy. Some of the stuff
Brian
he does,
Cox?
like, making the phone call and getting the stuff delivered to his house.
Dennis Farina was in that.
Yeah. So,
and William Peterson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they grade him up for it. I remember not thinking he was good for the role because he was too young for the role. He's supposed to be an older guy. And they grade his hair to make him look like he was in his 50s or something. He was like 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite out of the books that Thomas Harris wrote. I enjoyed that story. It was really well done.
Yeah, me too. Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs are great. Hannibal sucked. I didn't like the book or the movie.
Yeah, the book still better than the movie.
Right.
But you know what I found odd was they talked about they had to change the ending for the movie.
Right.
Because nobody wanted the ending. It had to be changed. I'm like, oh my God, what are they changing? The part they change, here's some spoilers for you. They don't change the part where Clarice eats her boss's brain.
Right. That's
fine. And, audiences can handle that. The part where she and Hector fall,
Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, Lecter, where they fall in love.
Right.
And they kind of end up a couple. That's the part they changed in the movie. It's like, that's what you thought the audiences couldn't handle? The brain eating's fine, but them in love. And to me, it wasn't a great story. But I could kind of see it making sense because you and I are a lot alike, Clarice, and you think about these things a lot. So it's like, all right.
He was also doping her up big time in the book, too. So
well, that's true, too.
Yeah.
So
I think that was part of it. Was the whole rapey thing. So
Humbert.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, just those movies went off the rails pretty fast.
They did.
Speaking of another movie that new ending.
Yeah.
And could be a horror movie. It's a horror movie musical, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Just recently got that on Blu-ray, and I had it on DVD. And the original on the DVD, if you flipped over the DVD to the second side, they had the original ending of the film that didn't test well with audiences, so they scrapped it and started over. But the original ending was the original ending of the play, where Audrey eats them both and takes over the world, basically. So it was really cool. There's all kinds of cool, Audrey's all over the place and buildings blowing up and people getting eaten and stuff. And it's 15 minutes of just chaos. It's awesome. And they've restored that on the Blu-ray now, so it has it all in full color and everything, and it's fantastic. And my youngest daughter, had only seen the original cut, and she was like, "What's happening? What's going on? I don't understand." I'm like, "Yeah."
So what did they change the ending to?
It has the original ending now.
No. What was the ending they had changed?
The original ending was he starts to feed. He thinks she's dying. He's feeding her to Audrey, and then he pulls her out and saves her, and he shocks Audrey and kills him.
Her. Okay.
And blows it up, and then
that was the audience acceptable.
Yeah. And the original version was he eats her and then kills him, and
goes and
takes over
the world,
which is the
horror movie-esque. Army of Darkness.
Love Army of Darkness.
Which ending did you prefer?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the S-Mart ending is more in line with the series. I was acceptable. That was acceptable to me.
Right.
But I really thought the Van Winkle thing was funny. That was cool. But
yeah, where he
wakes up and everything's done. Yeah, he's like, I slept too long.
It was funny, but I did like the S-Mart ending.
Yeah. The S-Mart ending is more in
line. And if we
with
didn't have the S-Mart ending, we wouldn't have had Ash versus Evil Dead,
right.
which I still haven't seen the last season.
So good. Good. I'm okay with how they ended that season being the ending of the show. I thought it was well done.
I wonder when that comes out. I'll have to
get that downloaded. You don't have it? It's probably on iTunes right now or something, isn't it?
Maybe. I don't download stuff. I don't do movies on iTunes. It's always like Netflix or Amazon.
Gotcha.
But I'll have to check for it because Bruce Campbell is the greatest actor of our generation.
He's awesome. Yeah.
You have Douglas Fairbanks, Sir John Gielgud. There's another one I'm trying to think. Laurence Olivier.
Right.
Bruce Campbell.
Did you see Bruce Campbell pulling off Hamlet?
Oh my God. To be or not to be, that is the question.
To be or
I got the gist of it.
Right.
Well, we hope you kids have a happy and safe Halloween. Remember, a lot of reflective stuff. Don't take candy from strangers.
Unless your parents say it's okay.
Yeah, then that's fine. And really, and this goes for everybody out there, stay away from people wearing members-only jackets. There's nothing good that can happen by interacting with somebody wearing a members-only jacket. Remember that, kids. That's a tip from me to you. If they want to send us Halloween wishes or tell us how their Halloween went, where on the social media can they do that, Brandon?
Well, you can go to the Twitter sphere and tweet us at Love to Hate Pod, or you can go on Facebook and like our page on there and shoot us a little comment about what your Halloween movies are and what you did for Halloween, and keep it, PG or... I guess we're an R-rated show. It doesn't matter.
We pretty much are. I think I pretty much contribute the majority of that.
Right. And don't forget to go to iTunes and give us a review there. Give us a 5-star review. We're going to be doing a Rafflecopter thing soon. We're going to be giving something away. Don't even know what it is.
Wait.
Probably something from Phil's Superman collection. He has no idea about this yet. But
what? Brandon will come and wash your car.
Yeah, right.
In the Speedo he wears on the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You sound like the Kool-Aid man. Hey, kids, we will talk to you next week.
Take care.